Hello there, I'm Tim and he's John and this is How to Murder Time, a podcast about games and things.
Hello everybody.
Watcher.
We're back.
I forgot to start there.
You did forget to start talking.
Yeah, because the little red thing on the top. Yeah. Okay, so we're up, we're live. Hello. I'm getting quite good at this, I think.
Yeah. No, we don't do live anymore. That was too much effort.
No, it's streaming, yes. Yes, have you been?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I just watched a 24-hour car race. I'm a little bit frazzled.
Is it that Le Mans thing, is it?
Le Mans, yeah.
Did you watch the entire thing?
Well, I took 2 hours out.
You look quite wired.
I took 2 hours out to watch Black Panther.
Okay.
But apart from
Not
that,
actually sleep then, or
no, sleep.
Right, okay.
It was a bit boring, so yeah, I slept.
Okay, fair enough.
Again, dates of that. This is recorded a week before it's released.
Oh well, whatever.
Yeah.
They don't mind. I'm gonna start with a thing.
Go on then.
We have a I've decided we need a commitment to things,
yeah,
as well as just games, because we talk about computer games quite a lot, and there's other stuff. We are rounded people. Yes, I need to talk about the Hugo Awards.
Are they still going?
The Hugo Award for Best Novel 2018, a long-running science fiction accolade, which I am not doing this year.
Because it drives you insane?
Well, I've done 2 in a row, and this is the third. This would have been the 3rd year, but I just goes. Well, for starters, I'm quite busy this time of year with hiking and general other activities and things. And I can't remember how much it was. About 50 quid to take part in it all. To buy a supporting membership of the Hugo Worldcon thing. I think it's in San Diego this time around, something like that. Anyway, but it's just the workload of it. There are 6 nominees again. I could just about do it.
No one else reads them all.
Well, I don't know. It just seems unfair and wrong to not read them all if you're going to then vote as to which one is the best one.
You know, and vote for them.
Well, I think that perhaps a lot of that does happen. Yeah, I mean,
It's the only way to explain the popularity of Kim Stanley Robinson.
Well, I mean, I quite enjoyed his stuff. I would have voted for his in those years. That's all very well, but you have to read the thing to be able to form a valid and genuine opinion on stuff. Surely,
No.
Otherwise, you've just got the internet, haven't you, where people don't experience anything and just have huge opinions on stuff, and apparently those are valid.
You're aware we do a podcast.
Oh, we're on the internet, aren't we? We're part of the problem.
Yeah, we are. We really are part of the problem.
Sorry. So anyway, I've decided that instead of go mad trying to read 4 to 700 page novels in the space of two or 3 months.
No one does a nice concise novel anymore.
Well, the voter pack. So you vote, you join, you pay your money, and they send you back all your forms and stuff. And when the time comes, you get to go online to the special website with your little code and do your voting and stuff. And that's fine. And they got weird. The voting gets weird each year. They keep changing how it works. Sometimes there's like a weird runoff thing where if your chosen person doesn't win, then all of the votes are transferred to who gets second place. It just gets really confusing. There's no just straight that's the best one tick. It's not really a straight popular vote as far as I can tell. I don't know. The maths are confusing. But anyway, So you get voter pack with it, which essentially is a special place on their website with your special code that you can go to, and you can download PDFs, and mostly these are excerpts. I'm not sure even they expect you to read the entire of each book, but I got into the habit of just going out and literally buying each of the nominees, because then you can read the whole thing in full. And I didn't want to think like I was paying 50 quid to try and get some sort of freebie humble bundle type science fiction download pack, and I don't know, I mean,
paying 50 quid to get 6 books.
It's about the same. I think I probably paid more than 50 quid for the 6 books each
time.
They're about sort of 10 or 11 quid a go, I think, generally.
No, books are 99p on Amazon now.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, long story short, I couldn't be bothered this year. I've just given up.
I respect the attitude.
Path of least resistance and all that. I'm still interested though, but what I decided I'd do is I'd just spend this 3 or 4 months, living a different life, doing stuff and going places, and then just go and buy and read whoever gets picked as the winner anyway, which happens in August. So we'll have to do a little update then. But
you could take it on your next hike.
Yeah, I could do. No, because they're quite heavy.
Yeah,
and I don't really do audiobooks.
You get time to read on a
Not really. No, it's quite relentless hiking and
cliffs,
going mad in your mind. No time for reading. And yes, you got keep your eye on the path as well. Getting blown out to sea, that nearly happened too. But anyway, I thought I'd have a quick little look at the list. The nominees are here. I'll have a quick look through and see what I would have been voting for, would have been reading. So
you haven't got a new phone yet?
This is no. I kept this phone. They keep offering me a new phone every couple of years, but I know I love this one. It's brilliant, and it's my camera for hiking.
Yeah, sure.
And it's a slightly oversized one for people with big hands as well, which I quite like. So the nominees for 2008 Best Novel: John Scalzi, The Collapsing Empire. I had a quick look on Wikipedia's plot synopsis for each of these so that I'm marginally informed.
don't like it.
Of course, the viewer can just click on Wikipedia and have a look
I
themselves.
don't like it. It's not a very well formulated idea for a
What do you
book,
think it's about?
and it drags out too much towards the end.
You're going to say that for all of them, mate.
No, it's completely different.
Okay, right. So the collapsing empire, as far as I can tell, according to Wikipedia,
It's set in space.
It's a space
and
one.
it's about the collapse of civilization.
It pretty much does do what it says on the tin. It's about a future galactic human empire which is connected by wormhole technologies of some sort, and it's all a bit weird about how that all works. And these wormhole technology is suddenly coming to an end, or collapsing, or falling apart. And it seems to be a kind of examination study of what happens to an interstellar empire when its communication
It's 40k fan fiction, isn't it?
Is that, yes, I suppose, perhaps. Yeah, but it's like a sort of interstellar, intergalactic, post-apocalyptic kind of novel, trying to charting and detailing how it all falls apart. And yes, it's a 40k.
It's the bit they haven't touched in 40k yet.
What, the Warhammer 30k? How it all got there?
Before that, the bit where
20k. Wow.
No, when it was all high tech and then it collapses in.
Yeah. So that's that.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's not going to win because it's a 40k rip-off.
I don't know. Well, John Scalzi won for Red Shirts.
Yeah, he did, and that was...
We found quite interesting. We did that when we were covering book reviews.
It was quite interesting, but...
It was a sort of parody Star Trek thing, but it had quite a deeper undercurrent.
It was also so far up its own arse.
It was very far up its own arse, yes. But he did win the Hugo that year. So.
Yeah, that's because the people that you vote for.
So Scalzi, a previous winner.
Yeah.
Kim Stanley Robinson is back.
This is an overly long, drivelly thing that concentrates far too much on clever insights into psychology, which are nothing like that.
You're joining us for Newsnight Review. Yes, this is Kim Stanley Robinson's New York 2140. And as far as I can tell from the Wikipedia write-up...
Has he made the mistake of not setting it far enough in the future?
Wikipedia doing the hard work so I don't have to. Well, 2140. So basically, this is a story, essentially a climate change, global warming catastrophe story of the future. New York is about 50 metres underwater. And on Wikipedia page, there's quite a sort of small bit at the bottom saying, this wouldn't really happen in real life. There isn't enough water on the Earth to cause this level. Yeah, whatever.
Everyone lives up on the skyscrapers.
Well, this is it. Lower Manhattan has become a kind of sort of island Venice type thing. And presumably it's an in-depth roller coaster of psychological analysis of various different character profiles, much like Red Mars, I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, Kim Stanley Robinson does very good politics and very good people and motivations. And his science fiction's pretty good too, his science of the science fiction. I really enjoyed Red Mars.
I dispute the good motivations.
Well, perhaps.
The people in Red Mars are all idiots.
They were all idiots, but they were well-realised idiots who followed their idiocy consistently throughout, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
Next.
Well, Robinson won previous Hugos for Green Mars and Blue Mars, although Red Mars didn't win.
That's because Red Mars is terrible. Although Green Mars and Blue Mars are worse.
You're not really...
I'm not a massive fan of his work.
Not a fan, okay. So then we
At least that one's not based on 40k.
It's not based on 40k as far as I can tell, no. Anne Leckie...
Did you know
Provenance.
that...
Oh, yeah, what?
That's... what was that film that was meant to be a 40k film?
40k film?
Thingy. I've forgotten its name anyway. Keep going.
All right. So Anne Leckie, yes, Provenance. This is set in the Imperial Raj'd universe. This is Ancillary Mercy, Ancillary Justice, Ancillary the other one. But those are a trilogy, whereas this is in the same universe but not a sequel.
Okay,
so
I can approve of that. More
of the same kind of backstory and stuff. I didn't really get as far in as what it was actually about. The Wikipedia was quite sparse on that one, so blame them, not me. She obviously won with Ancillary Mercy or Justice or one of them, and then sort of nominated but didn't win for another of that series, third one of that series, which I actually read. I read the first and third of that series, didn't get around to the middle one. I liked them, they were good.
Yeah. I don't think the series should continue winning. You can only get to an award for one of them in my rules.
Well, this is it, breaking away from an established trilogy where you've got readers who've bought into the characters and want to see what happens next versus, well, now I want to try something different. That can be quite a tricky move. So I don't know, I'm not sure how we'll go there. Yoon Ha Lee's Raven Stratagem. This was the sequel to Nine Fox Gambit, which was a nominee last year or the year before, and I read and I quite enjoyed. That was the one with the weird calendar maths that science fiction empire that all runs on believing in the same calendar.
Oh yeah,
weird calendar weapons and stuff like that.
That was the one that wanted to be Isaac Asimov so badly that it hurts.
I liked it. I thought it was quite fun and fresh and interesting, and there was quite a sort of light brevity to the characterisation of it, which I quite like. This is the sequel to that. I might even have a go at that one myself in my own time, because I did want to find out what happened, and the previous one did leave on a bit of a sequel hook,
of course,
type thing. Well, yeah. So then we got Mer Lafferty, 6 Wakes. So I've not heard of this person or the author or anything on the book. I've read up on the books, and it's essentially a sort of murder mystery.
Okay.
It's
like the idea.
So stop me if this sounds familiar, and I'll see if you can make the link and spot the familiarity. So the characters wake up on a generation ship travelling between the stars and find that their previous clone, they're basically six ex-criminal. No, they're clones of 6 criminals who have been for some reason or another have to remain awake to be the crew of the ship as this generation colony ships travelling between the stars. Only one of them wakes up to find all the other previous clone versions of them all had been killed, and she's got no memories of what's going on. So basically, whodunit ensues. It sounded rather a lot like Passengers to me, but without the creepy stalker plot. But
also, it's a bit like. Is it The Expanse or the other one?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't
know.
Well,
they're criminals on a ship with no memory, but
yeah. It's that sort of ontological. Oh, who are we all? Are we all bad people? Which one of us done the murders? Yeah. That sort of thing. So that could be interesting.
It
depends on how tightly well plotted it is.
It could be interesting and has been interesting multiple times.
it's perhaps a new take on an old idea. I don't know. Yeah, and then of course N.K. Jemisin with The Stone Sky, which is the third part in Broken Earth trilogy. I think it's a trilogy. I'm kind of hoping it's a trilogy. Yeah. She has won both the Hugos of the previous 2 years.
Yeah, that's why she's not going to win this time.
The previous 2 instalments of this trilogy.
But it's going to be the one that's most worthy of winning.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's it. I mean, she may win it as a, well, you've had the other 2, then here's the third one. It may. I don't know.
It's a very good book.
Is it?
No idea.
There we go. You heard it from the expert. I don't know. I mean, she's a consistent favourite and darling of the Hugo voting public. She won previous 2, and they were. I don't know. I liked them. They were technically very well accomplished, interesting, sort of post-apocalyptic sort of magic coming up and earthquakes destroying the world all the time, and we got some really unlikable protagonists who are constantly angry and bitter all the time, and in a world where everyone else is angry and bitter all the time and are constantly trying to kill each other and backstab each other and stuff. It's not a pleasant read, but it is an interesting read, I think. And I have, because I have been trying to do the Hugo thing as a voting judge, bought and read both of the previous 2, and I found myself, I suppose, wanting to find out what happens. I mean, you can't get X books into a trilogy and then decide, no, I don't want to read the last one.
Yeah, you can.
Or whatever.
No, really, you can.
Yeah.
That is a sane response to do if you don't enjoy the other books.
Oh, it's sort of anything else is Stockholm syndrome. Is that what we're saying? Maybe.
It's sunk cost fallacy.
Sunk cost. Perhaps. Yeah.
Eddings should have been shut down years ago. And it's this attitude that gets
15 books
going.
into the Wheel of Time, and you just feel like you better see it out, really. Yeah, I don't know. I think she's a very strong contender. I haven't looked at any bookies odds or anything. I don't know. Do bookies even do bets on this kind of
they do bets on anything.
I don't know, but I think she's got a very strong chance of winning. And I don't know. It'd be her or Kim Stanley Robinson, I suppose. But not having actually read any of these, I don't know the strengths of the individual books. You don't think so?
No.
He's written quite a bit. He's written quite a bit of stuff since read, the Mars trilogy, and none of that seems to have won anything for him. So unless he's had a short story somewhere.
Repeated the science fiction multi-part series they did a couple of years ago, and he was on it talking nonsense.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's why he shouldn't win. Because he talked nonsense.
Fair enough. Yeah, but we talk nonsense.
That's why we don't have a Hugo.
Oh, we don't win Hugos, yeah. Good point.
And there is one we could win.
What, the best podcast?
Yeah.
I think you have to kind of talk about science fiction a lot. Well, here we go. Here's our entry for the Hugo. It's a bit late for the nominations now. I think we'll have to go for 2019.
Again.
I know.
Somebody remind us that we need to win a Hugo next year.
Yeah, we'll just completely retool the podcast around November and then just relentlessly bang on about Asimov for, sort of 8 months. And
Are we pro or anti-Asimov?
I don't know. Apparently he's an awful man. So,
true.
But a lot of his work is quite good. So it's that ability to detach the author from the work, Is that even allowed? Are we allowed to do that?
I don't think we are
anymore. Is that a sane
anymore.
thing to do? Or is all Asimov work now terrible? You know, because we live in the age of Operation Nutri and everyone we ever liked from the 70s turning out to be a terrible sex pest and molester. So it's difficult to know what it's permissible to like anymore.
Turns out that everyone we like now as well is also...
makes you wonder. Makes you not want to like anything for fear of being associated with dark things. Let's lighten the tone a bit.
Okay.
What I've learned about the Hugo this year is it's quite nice to have a year off.
Yeah.
I mean, in the time I would be sitting there frantically reading, I've been working extensively on our Pathfinder campaign. Lots of extracurricular stuff, not in the modules going into that for the Fridays. I've been going on hiking trips. And also, you know, couch to 5k again, and a bit of dieting and stuff. You know, I mean, I've generally playing lots of games and doing. It shouldn't be a chore, but I think the scope of the thing is. I almost picked it in the first place as a kind of, this will be a heroic endeavour. You know, in the same way that I'm trying to play my way through the entire of Lord of the Rings online at the moment. You know, the idea of picking a stupid big thing to do and having a crack at it, and the idea of reading like 6 400-page science fiction door stoppers in the space of 2 or 3 months. That qualified, but I've done it a few times now and I know I can do it. I've proven that to myself, which just leaves the sort of more nobler reasons you'd get involved in that in the first place. And I'd like to be more involved. I'd like to get involved. I'd like to do my part to promote and laud good science fiction, but it's just such a big job, and who has that time? It turns out I don't really anymore. So there we go. I'll probably talk a little bit more about it in August when it's actually happened and been and gone, and we can talk about you can insult whoever won it.
Okay.
And I'll probably buy and read the winning book anyway, because, you know, if nothing else, this nominee list is a good pointer to decent science fiction.
Well, popular science fiction.
Yes, that's the same thing, obviously. Yeah. So anyway, I shall stop boring you with my boring talk about boring books, and over to you.
I'm going to talk about Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice.
Okay, yes, I'm aware.
Which is a small game which was released last year by a company which has now been bought by Microsoft.
Okay.
And it's about this Celtic-ish girl who is off on a quest to hell.
To hell?
To hell.
Okay.
Nordic hell, to be specific.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're sort of crossing our mythologies a bit here. I'm not quite sure what Celts believe.
Well, she looks Celtic, but she could be a little bit Viking. But basically, you're seeking hell to solve some things. And you're carrying a thing which is a thing which occasionally talks to you, and don't think about it too much. And this is a game which, when it starts, one of the initial credits is psychological consultant.
Yeah, I was about to say, from the things I'd heard about this game, she sounds like quite a troubled woman. And this is it a flippant portrayal of mental illness for gameplay purposes?
No.
Do you have a sanity meter?
No.
Or is it rather more nuanced examination of multiple personality disorder?
It's a really, really interesting thing, which I'll get into in a minute.
Yeah.
It's a third-person walking around thing, where you're basically walking through a gorgeous world. You have to solve some puzzles, have some fightings, opening doors, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But all the time you're doing it, you're meant to play it with headphones.
Right.
Instead of speakers, because it really does help. And you hear the voices in her head. All of the doubts, all of the congratulations, all of the fears, all voiced as you go along. So you walk along and plank over a cliff.
Yeah.
And you've got all of the fear about falling. When you're fighting, some of the voices in your head say get up when you get knocked down. Others saying, she can't win, she's not good enough.
This is all variations on her own voice?
No, it's various voices.
Different voices, okay, yeah.
I don't think I've heard her voice.
Ah, okay. Because we're quite used to, romping our way through a third-person action shooter and hearing mission control updating us as to what to do. And it's usually somebody else sat somewhere with an internet connection and a walkie-talkie or whatever, and you just do what they say.
No, in this case, it's
sometimes that's played with in things like the Stanley Parable and whatever. But
there's also another voice which talks to you as well for plot reasons.
Okay.
It's really interesting the way they've done it. It does feel like she's got doubts and is a little bit troubled and isn't quite sure as to what's going on. And it makes a real difference. It's surprising how much of a difference it makes. You come to a puzzle,
and
then the voices in your head are giving you clues.
Yeah.
saying do this, do that. Oh, she needs
But
to
not
do
all
this.
of these voices are necessarily reliable.
Not well,
presumably. Or...
No, it
Okay.
just
Are they all on her side?
well, they're all on her side. It's just some are more positive than others.
Okay.
But the way it helps you with a puzzle is in these voices as well. So you hear her thinking as well, which is interesting.
So you sort of build your tutorial stuff into that aspect of it as well.
And it's very subtle the way they've done it, but it works really well.
Okay.
It's not the most cheerful of games.
Yeah, no, I'll imagine, yeah. Sounds like it's got some quite grim themes to it all.
She's not a happy lady,
No.
and she's not going to a happy place for happy reasons.
How does this work with sort of gameplay versus cutscene sort of tonality, or what I like to call the Tomb Raider problem?
Oh, there's no problem at all.
Yeah, because the Tomb Raider reboot essentially is two different games. One of them's a film about a vulnerable girl surviving a terrifying hostage crisis,
and the other one's about
is
a monster
about
killing
a monster
her way
killing
for an
everything she comes across with utter competence and no real remorse.
I've actually been replaying that as well, and
oh god, I'm terrified, I'm terrified, and then like 2 seconds later, headshot, and then it's back to I'm freaking out. I've just killed a man.
Can I kill someone? No,
you've killed about 40 men.
I think you'll find you're the most skilled killer on this island.
You are the monster,
and everything needs to be afraid of.
And
you.
I was thinking about that, and I was thinking it would be an amazing game where you took that and ran with it, and so you started to present a sort of almost Jekyll and Hyde style actual narrative where that's all part of it all. But yeah, so perhaps not quite what this is.
Did you run into any trouble? No. Bodies everywhere.
Somebody keeps killing everyone. Who is it? Oh, it's me. Mirror. Yeah, exactly.
No, this is far more subtle and well written than
okay, good.
That little bit of dissonance.
Because there's some quite tricky and uncomfortable thematic issues. In a way, you are essentially making a game out of some degree of mental illness.
Yeah, and I think they've done it quite well.
Yeah, it's so easy to become really sort of fatuous about that and just make it into some...
they haven't done the Cthulhu sanity meter.
Well, sanity meters are sort of...
Which is stupid.
Well, it's a parody, isn't it? I mean, most Cthulhu stuff, that's, Call of Cthulhu and the things today are almost sort of ironic pastiches of the Lovecraft stuff there and then. They're not... I mean, the original Lovecraft stuff was terrifying horror stories, and they were. But
exactly. He's on the list of people that we're not meant to like anymore.
Yeah.
Because he was really nasty.
Everyone knew what a terrifying racist he was all the way through. But his works just scream it out. That's not a revelation. But most of the sort of modern games about that stuff use sanity points as a kind of, you're going to go mad, and it's even expected that you can't really win a game of Call of Cthulhu. You can just be the last person who's sane, that sort of thing. And that's all part of the joke, so it's a bit tongue in cheek and so on. But it's interesting when someone decides to make a sort of semi-serious game like the sort of thing you're talking about, and start to bring in aspects of mental health into it, because you start to really walk a quite dangerous line of just really making it really quite distasteful, I suppose.
It's not a game that I've put long sessions into, because I don't feel that playing it all in one sitting would be a good idea. It's not a particularly long game either, and I don't really want to say too much about that later.
It sounds quite powerful though.
But yeah, it's very powerful, and just the questioning what you're doing and the questioning yourself is a fascinating way of doing it, and I really like that little conceit. The game itself, if you ignore all that, I looked at some of the reviews of it, and people are saying, it's an interesting game, but the combat's not that great and the plot's not very good, but it looks pretty. And I'm thinking, if you don't think the plot's that interesting, you don't understand what they're trying to do, and whose fault is that?
Whose fault is that? Yeah.
Because
you can get all auteur about it all, and no one understands it. It's not for critics. It's not for players. And at that point, well, why are you doing it as a game?
And also, I think
it has to fulfil a basic function as a game.
It might need to be.
Otherwise, you might as well have done it just as a film or a story.
It might need to be something that you need to have a bit more experience in life with before you can start identifying.
Not really going to appeal to.
If you haven't asked yourself these questions, you get near a cliff. And
typical Fortnite player's not going to get much out of this.
Don't be so critical of Fortnite players. You get near a cliff and that voice says jump.
Yeah.
And we all get that.
Yeah.
But if you don't understand that voice,
it's because what?
Yeah.
Why would you say that? Why would you jump? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It sounds like a fascinating thing, actually.
It is.
It sounds worthy of particular and a good look.
It's really interesting and really fun. I've had a couple of bugs in it, which is a bit annoying. And it's very short, and the gameplay isn't that complex. The fighting's sort of
It sounds like that all exists mostly to prop up the narrative.
There's some lovely puzzles which involve looking at things. at one point early on, you're walking through the woods and you see a monster.
Yeah.
And then you go past a tree, and then it's just a totemy thing.
Yeah.
And also, there's other puzzles where you have to reveal different aspects about the environment by looking through rings. So if you look through a ring one way, this wall will have disappeared, or this bridge will be down.
Yeah.
And then you can wander around and go through. But if you look back the other way, it goes back, and you may need to switch between the different realities to. Which is interesting, and leads to some interesting puzzles. But what it basically is almost a walking simulator, but with combat and lots of psychological examination into self-doubt.
Yeah. That does sound interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about my failure to bring any video along to prop up this show, because my hard disk blew up blew up, and not like flames and big skyrocketing out and everything.
Platter in the wall.
I know, they don't do that anymore, which is a shame. No, I died. It did this sort of click, click, click. Well, basically, I was playing something or other, and I heard this beeping noise, and I thought, what's that? And it's always a bad sign when the case itself is doing the beeping. It's not coming through the speakers, not through the headphones. It's not like a boom alert noise coming out of Windows. It literally, the box is making beep noises. It's like, okay, headphones off, let's see all this. And there's this I think, oh, hello, that's not a good noise in hard disk happiness terms.
On the plus side, it's very recognisable.
Exactly. The diagnostics was pretty easy. I think the hard disk's dead. Yeah, I don't know what happened, whether it just wore out. I mean, I did wonder if, because I do Set It Home and BoInkNet and World Community Grid, these sort of various distributed volunteer computing projects. So I wonder if those, because they run in the background and use spare CPU cycles. So I always thought those hit the CPU and memory more than the disk.
And graphics card if they use
the graphics card sometimes. Yeah,
it's probably not. It's probably just
wear and tear, I suppose.
You got that drive when I got my PC.
It's well out of warranty.
Yeah, that's well past it.
4 or 5 years old, probably. Yeah. So it was a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda. It did me well, not slating the company or anything. These things happen. So, but irritating. But I've got a sort of dual disk system. The C drive is an SSD that's got Windows on, and some of the utilities and bits and pieces I need and use a lot. Things like Mumble and whatever. So that's all on there, and that was fine. That was perfectly safe. But the D drive, that's where I get Steam to put all the games.
Yes, I have a drive for that too.
And I manually install. I was kicking myself because I'm so flipping meticulous about that. I searched my entire C drive for anything to play at all, and I came up with one instance of Factorio, which I'd accidentally forgotten to make it go on D when I installed. So yeah.
Are you aware?
Yeah.
You can re-download games.
Yes, I am, because that's what I've been doing for the last 4 days, pretty much solidly. I've been leaving the computer on overnight and queuing stuff up, and I've been trying to sort of re-put it all back on in order of my static group commitments throughout the week. So right, Lord of the Rings Online, then we got Neverwinter Nights, then put Warframe on. I'm sort of slowly rebuilding it.
And then you hit one of those 90 gigabyte monsters.
Well, I mean, Warframe's pretty huge. Lord of the Rings Online wasn't a small one either. So went out, and you know how it is. It's I can't wait for mail order. I have to go out now. So I went to my local high street business park computer hardware special stockist, of which there is only one.
It's a TV and fridge shop.
TV and fridge shop, yes, that got all merged in, and they merged in with Carphone Warehouse, and they gone out of business as well. I don't know. Anyway, not important. But so I managed to get a Western Digital 4 terabyte job to replace it with, because if you're going to replace, you might as well improve. So that's all in, set up, and off we go. So I was looking around, and these kinds of events bring the subject of data security ever to heart. As you oh right, okay. So, and
were you very thankful about Steam Cloud Saves?
Yes and no. It doesn't do it for every game. It only supports some games. But yes, if you I think it's on by default, or you can turn it on in Steam anyway. But Steam will save your save games for some games to its own cloud.
Modern
games. What was I looking for that I was trying to get? I can't remember now. Something or other. But but not everything does it. But then also I learned that most Stellaris doesn't cloud save Steam.
Of course it doesn't.
No, because you don't put a lot of time into a Stellaris.
But does that save on C?
That was saved on C. Yes. One of the better things about Microsoft's authoritarian dominance of development is that they seem to enforce a standard of your games must save to the user's documents.
That's because you
folder.
may not have any rights to write anywhere else on the disk.
Yeah, exactly. Microsoft set aside a particular place for applications to put their data into. If they need to make save games or save spreadsheets or Word documents or whatever, they all go to your documents folder on C drive, and that was all untouched. Which means I haven't lost about 150 hours of X Rebirth patiently building up a massive empire, and I haven't
that
lost
Ultimate Replay.
I haven't lost the massive Stellaris game that I've got in progress, because I really think I would have just lost the plot if I'd have had to start again. This time it wasn't Stellaris' fault; they didn't invalidate the save game format, but I just destroyed it myself.
I think that there is a trick being missed here with automatically backing up saves.
Yes, well, this is the thing. When I bought my hard disk, I also bought a 1 terabyte external USB plug-in drive. Yeah. Because I thought, what I could do is just keep copying my C users document folder across.
Microsoft actually has a decent backup system in Windows for that, which will automatically copy your documents over.
I suppose, but it's just File Explorer copying a file across. I mean, you can do incremental stuff. Turns out RAID 1 mirroring is not a thing in Windows 10. It doesn't do it innately. I mean, I presume I could find some third-party thing. Because I toyed with the idea of getting 2 drives and setting up some sort of RAID thing, just because I was ultra paranoid about data loss at this point. But actually, just an external disk and copying the folder across.
Do not be paranoid about data loss for easily replaced data.
I did lose where I put all my photos and video for my hiking and holidays and things, and that's a shame. That's gone. I mean, some of the photos are still on the phone. The video, I only just purged all that video I've given to you because I needed the space back on my phone. So you've got the only remaining copy of my week 2 hiking. Yeah. So do not lose it.
Don't worry, I'll upload that to YouTube at some point.
Yes, that would be good.
This week probably.
Yeah, but and then I got a little 16 gig pen USB stick, and I built a system recovery disk, which I hadn't previously done because I thought, okay, D drive's gone. Oh no, all my game installs have gone. But annoying, but not the end of the world. But what happens if my C drive went? And I'd be able to creak, frankly, because Windows do it all as recovery partitions on the drive. It's the same drive. Yep. That's so stupid. The whole point is if your C drive goes, it's going to lose the bit that's got Windows on and the little bit you reserve on the far end.
Does the recovery drive save the product key?
I don't know. I literally no idea what my product key is. There's no sticker on the side of the case anymore.
No, you don't know anymore.
No. Presumably the recovery disk is just enough operating system to get me onto the internet, and then I'll have to go and download and stream it all down from Windows as a service. I mean, I really miss the days when you'd get a CD with Windows on it with your PC, because at least then you can bootstrap yourself back up from nothing if it all goes wrong again. But no, you don't get any of that anymore. No, here's your OEM recovery partition on the same mechanical object that's died.
It's okay, you can download it off the internet.
How? Yeah. I have an utterly blank PC that doesn't even know what its own hard disk is, let alone flipping
Macs
internet.
Can download a copy of MacOS from inside the BIOS.
Well, I imagine the BIOS for a Mac has a lot more sophisticated gubbins inside it, yeah. Anyway, long story short, I had a bit of a... Mind you, it didn't slow me down very long. I was out of commission gaming for... I fired up my Xbox 360 for the first time in about 2 years. That was quite fun.
Well, now you moved up to the having a HD TV.
I've got the TV that can support it, yeah. I got...
Not a proper HD, an older HD TV.
Yeah, I got all the way through the intro of Mass Effect 1 and then got bored just about where it starts to let you have control and use your character. So,
that stupid planet.
Yeah, Eden Prime, yeah. And I didn't realise it was actually doing New Game Plus on me as well. I thought, bloody hell, these are a bit hard. That's level 51 drones coming in on the first thing. Anyway, so yes, I back up and in action. And in a way, it's quite liberating because before my PC disk died, I had about 30 or so different games installed, all with abandoned, half-finished saves on that I felt I really ought to finish at some point. And now that's all gone. Yeah. And I can start a clean sheet. So I've reinstalling all the stuff I'm doing static groups with, obviously. But yeah, from here, I think new games, new things to talk about. Hurrah! So yeah, and I'll be just looking around and probably buying a couple of the things I've been putting off and looking forward to getting on with for some time, like Witcher 3, Fallout 4,
Witcher 3.
Dishonored 2, Prey. I want to be meaning to have a look at that as well.
Prey's good.
Yeah,
I need to finish.
I'm a huge
that.
fan of Arcane Studios, everything they do, so I need to get around and actually
You'll
buy
never
some of
look
their
at a
stuff.
coffee mug in the same way.
Right. Yeah, but there's all sorts of games I've been meaning to get around to playing, and I haven't really gotten around to yet. But now I can, because my table has been swept clean by the vagaries of mechanical disc failure. It's all good stuff.
What are you done with the platters?
I don't know. I've just put it in the pile of other discs I'm too paranoid to throw in the trash. Seriously, I've got about 4 or 5 old hard disks there that I don't have the capacity to utterly destroy down to the atomic level myself, and I'm too paranoid to let anyone else try and do for me. So, not that there's anything particularly incriminating on there, but yeah, things like online banking details and things. It's just, you don't want to throw hard disks in the trash. That's asking for trouble.
Or just dismantle them and take the platters out.
That's a way of doing it. Yeah. But I mean, you hear all sorts of terrible stories about what they can do with disk recovery these days forensically. You can shoot it with a 12 bore and they can still piece it back together and get your blinking Windows key off it or something. Anyway, maybe I'm ranting. Do you want to talk about a thing?
I'm going to talk a bit more about Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Marty.
40,000.
40,000 Marty.
40,000.
Yeah, that's a stupid name for a game. Which is the Diablo-alike about Inquisitor.
You talked a bit about that previously.
Yeah. It's released. It was early access, but not very long.
That's the spirit. Early access of less than a month. Yeah.
It's released now and actually has a full campaign, which I haven't finished working through yet.
Right.
And I've been playing it way more than I expected to, because I'm really quite enjoying it.
Yeah, cool.
I'm playing through as the bog standard easy mode Crusader type Inquisitor, so not the psychic one and not the snipery one.
So there are difficulty levels in
there's
in the classes.
Different type. Well,
just different gameplay styles, I suppose.
And so I've been switching out between a guy with a shield and a chainsaw, or having a bolter and just shooting everyone, or for one glorious mission I used a heavy flamer. Flamed everything.
It sounds fun, but it sounds like it's the sort of fun they have to try and keep under a tight leash with limited ammo and that kind of thing.
No.
Just go mad with it.
It overheats after a while. But I had one plot mission which I needed to defend someone, and I was doing terribly at it, so I got my flamer out and did it with the flamer, and it was so much better.
Did you set fire to the person you were trying to keep?
No, luckily you can't.
Well done.
I did manage to set fire to myself many times, though. It has a alt mode where it's an area effect burst.
Oh, God.
You fire a ball of fire. It's weird. Yeah. I really enjoy the game. They appear to be supporting it as well. There's events which are the usual. If you kill 5,000 people,
that's very much a staple of Diablo 3, isn't it? The seasons and different things come up every now and then. But time limited stuffs.
Which that's interesting enough. But there's also, after you finish the plot, it goes into this mode where you've got a sector, and you've got different levels of unease in them, and you're trying to get that down and things, which I haven't explored yet. But sounds interesting. Gives you something to do past the plot.
So a little sort of almost empire management light thing going on as well.
Yeah, and at the moment it's all chaos and traitor guardsmen.
Right.
Which is interesting, but how many times can you see an Ogrin with a grenade launcher before you get a bit bored? But they're going to be adding in Dark Elder or Drukhari, as I know now, which always makes me want to think of Vic and Bob.
Drukhari.
As in Shooting Stars type Drukhari.
Haru, yes.
Yeah, which is now ruined it for everyone else who's listening.
Cool.
It's interesting. It's fun. There's enough variety in weapons to keep it interesting and going.
To do a good service to the material.
And it does.
Fans of 40k going to like it.
It does feel right. And you start by building up a little group of people on the bridge of this rogue trader ship that you've appropriated. Okay. So then you get a admech guy and a tech priest and Astro. Navigator guy.
So it sounds like familiar game concepts, but,
it very
but
much
new
is.
And interesting in the context of it being 40k.
The places you go to are all obviously the same tile sets. But there's enough variety in there to keep it sort of okay. And you are doing the only so many things you can do. Most of them involve killing people, and killing lots of people, and it's fine. It's fine.
That's what you want.
Yeah. So you go to a system, you'll have a list of all the different missions you can do against your different power levels.
There's nothing wrong with repeating tile sets and stuff if the basic gameplay is fun.
And I'm finding it fun enough to keep playing it and to keep wanting to do stuff. And I'm currently still leveling up. I'm trying to get to the point where I'm past the plot, which I'm probably going to end up doing in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And then I can start doing the broader stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm going to finish the plot way before I get to max level. More specifically, up till the point where I hit the level where some of the things in the guild I created can be done.
Okay.
There's a How to Murder Time guild in the EU region in it, which I've created, which no one's in. So, because I've not told anyone
Popular
about
as
it.
ever. Good.
Yeah, it
Right.
just seemed like a sensible thing to do.
So what does it have in terms of online?
It's got co-op
stuff. Yeah.
It's got co-op and it's got some PvP.
This is all like online internet matchmaking stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe you can just pull people into your missions and stuff, but I haven't done it yet.
That's a friends list managed through the game or through Steam?
I don't know. I haven't done it yet.
Oh, you don't have friends?
I don't have friends. I don't like people.
It's true.
Yeah. So if you want to join, have a look in the EU region when you're looking the cabals, I think they're called.
Right.
And it's the obvious one because it's.
Is there PvP or is it not really?
Yeah, there's a PvP bit as well.
Okay, yeah.
It all unlocks after you get to a certain point, of course.
Yeah,
so when you start off, it looks like there's hardly anything there. But then start
you have to learn the game first.
But then crafting unlocks and
So there's a good sort of pace of introducing the mechanics as it goes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's really fun. I'm really liking it.
Cool.
And it may well be that rarity of a good 40k game.
Well, yeah, they're very hit and miss, aren't they?
They're very more mixed than hit.
Games Workshop licenses. Every so often you'll get a Vermintide or a Martyr, and then there's a whole load of terrible turn-based strategy stuff doesn't really click. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. I was playing Stellaris, and still am, because I checked today. My save game's still intact. I'm doing well. I'm slowly claiming large chunks of the galaxy with my Imperial knockoffs. Yes, I've got the hang of wars. It's all about the little chess game during a war. So you got a certain Empire naval capacity score, and each ship is, so a corvette is 1 point, destroyers are 2 points, cruisers are 4 points, and so on. You build up and use those points up to build up fleets. Then each stack has its own particular smaller stack limit. They're just desperately trying to stop people doom stacking around the game with this mechanic. So you just have lots of smaller doom stacks that you all move together.
A wall of
doom wall, yeah, exactly. But the enemy empires will be doing something similar, and you check on the various relative power sort of race relations list, as you can sort them by power, and it tells you if their navy's inferior or superior or whatever. So you get some idea of who to attack when. Then you can go to war and have at it. And this whole war declaration thing is getting a bit more intuitive. It depends on the reasons for war as well. If you just fancy some of their empire, then you have to go through all this claim stuff. But if they've declared war on you and so fanatically xenophilic that they want to just exterminate you because they can't stand you existing, then you're allowed to go crazy in return. And I got quite lucky early on when a neighbour who was about 2/3 the size of me and hates all other life decided to declare a war of extermination on me, and I fought them off and then took about 2/3 of their empire before they go, oh no, that was a mistake, sorry, and then did a bit of a surrender, so that was good.
And you accepted the surrender?
Well, it forces you, because you still have your own war fatigue thing going on all the way through. After a while it will auto accept any offered surrenders, between the time they surrender and the time your people are fed up with being at war, you have to race to claim as much extra stuff as you can. So that was good. So yeah, that's going well, and I'm starting to become a galactic power, and I'm starting to find that only alliances and federations of empires are a threat now, rather than any individual threat. That's a problem. I've been trying to read up on various forums and stuff about the game, and it seems that it's really difficult as a non-aligned solo empire to face off against federations, because once they form, there's no real game mechanic to sort of divide or split them apart. They will all automatically declare war against you at the same time, that sort of thing. So you just have to outgrow them and try and do it that way, I suppose. And then beyond there, you've got the fallen empires and ascendant empires and so on. These are like super powerful NPC empires that don't really do much, but will utterly crush you if you sort of annoy them, that sort of thing. And they're usually only about 3 or 4 star systems, and they start with a vastly overwhelmingly powerful navy. Eventually you can creep up and get to their level and have a go at them. So that's going well, and I'm very pleased that my save game still exists, because I can carry on with that. I'm not sure I really have the energy to start a 4th proper go at Stellaris again this close together. So that's going well. Over to you.
Anything else?
I can talk about Lotro if you like.
You can talk about Lotro.
Right, so it's anniversary time in Lotro, only it's not. Now, Lotro do this weird thing, is that they do most of their festivals. They do the Spring Festival and the Winter Festival and the Talk Like a Pirate Festival and all, basically the usual plethora of MMO excuses to do the weird time-limited events. Only they decide they do them twice. They have this encore thing. So the Yule Festival was in May. We saw that. They reran the spring one, I think, just now. Summer one's coming up, but the anniversary one, which I think is actually nearer May or June or March, I don't know, it's much earlier than now, but for some reason they'd run the anniversary again. So I was in there and I thought, oh, fireworks, all right, I'll have a go, waiting for something else to happen. And I got kind of drawn into it a bit, like I do. Yeah. Because I looked and I thought, I only need 40 of these tokens for the special horse skin. I thought, I could go with that. And I only need to do and I got the horse, and it only took me 3 8-hour sessions to earn the tokens I needed. It's Starships again, isn't it? Definitely. I think I have some kind of psychological problem. But so I've been doing a lot of that. But also they've been running the sort of every anniversary they add another set to a series of every year anniversary quests, and so this year there are 11 of them, and they've involved going to faraway places and seeing things you haven't seen in a while, and finding particular monsters and killing those again, and following a whole series of tasks based on individual members of the Fellowship of the Ring and so on. So year 1 it was about Frodo, and you'd have to go to Bag End and look at a thing, go to Rivendell and look at a thing, and so on, and doing all this stuff earns you the tokens and special cosmetic rewards and stuff, and I got really sucked into it all again, and basically I'm up to speed. We've done all 11 years over the last 2 weekends. Yes, it was quite hard going.
Did you get a spaceship?
No spaceship, which was disappointing. Got a Gollum mask, actual mask you can put on your character's head that looks like Gollum. It's a bit meta, frankly. But yes, I don't like it. Them? I don't know. You must have some hitherto unknown fan club. It's It's. I mean, you could possibly raise questions about broken immersion at that point, but especially on the roleplay server, I don't know how those people reconcile any of this. But I've quite enjoyed being sent all around the world. But the problem is they do these anniversary events and send you on places that are relevant to the members of the Fellowship all the way across the entire 3-book trilogy. And of course now they're down to Mordor and Northern Mirkwood and Lake Town and stuff. That means that a lot of these supposedly accessible quests that anyone can have a go at involve going to Gondor or Mirkwood or whatever. And if you're a newer player, you're not really going to have access to any of that, because that also forces you to have bought XYZ expansion. Anyway, there was a big uproar, and so they ended up introducing a second line of these quests, which are cut down versions that only have you going around Eriador, which is the Shadows of Angmar content only, and those are much shorter, and that was the series we did, so I can't imagine what doing the proper set's going to be like, but you do get a horse at the end of that. We got all sorts of various I got a little sandcastle for the yard of the house that I actually bought a house again, because we got all this furniture, you got to put it I know, I'm getting so involved. This was only supposed to be a laser focused go through the story and then out, and I've just gone completely native. Is there a guild? It's the same guild as before.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Hobbiton Crescent are back, yes. That all got basically transferred with the last remaining people to move between various servers. I think Multi had it with him when he transferred to that server. And anyway, yes, it's the same guild, but we moved the kinship house and everything. So I'm quite looking forward to getting back on with the main story. We're at the point, having finished the Mirkwood expansion, where we're starting on the Isengard expansion. So we got a lot of make busy travel around the world to various rangers, all in the original content, and telling them to get on with it. It's Grey Company time, head south. And then we're going to finally go off to Enedrath and down to Dunland and Isengard. So that'd be nice, because I've not seen those. I've seen those on one character once about 3, 4, 5 years ago. So it'll be relatively fresh and relatively new, and I'm looking forward to that. And we're going to be starting that next week, because the anniversary will have gone away again. And I think we've only got about 2 or 3 weeks until the summer festival starts, and then we have to do more things. I can't remember, gathering flowers, I think. I can't remember what the summer events are. There was lots of launching fireworks for the anniversary one. You stand on a hill near Bree and you have to hit the right colour. The bloke at the front announces which firework you got to do, and there's like a little toolbar and you have to press the right colour. It's really, really stupid and mindless and easy unless you're colourblind, in which case you are screwed. Seriously, the bloke at the front says, now launch a firework which is red, and you've got this little special toolbar tray with four explodey icons that all look identical except the colour. And if you have bichromatic colour blindness, like 8% of the male population do, you're going to have no luck telling the difference between the red and the green firework, and you're probably going to stuff that event up consistently over and over. But there you go, some people just don't take that thing into consideration. So yes, anyway, Lotro still going. I'm not quite sure why. compulsion
Just
at this point. Yeah. Anyway, do your spiel. No. Oh, what did you learn this week?
I learned that it's faster to replace the entire back end of a race car than to change the settings on that back end.
Okay, and I learned that I should back more stuff up to external sources on my hard disk. The computer never lasts forever. It's not a safe place.
Yeah. Go to howtomotortime.com where there's the feed for this show. Also, all of the old Van Hemlock podcast episodes are there because I got asked that during the week. So if you want to listen to any of the old ones, you can, of course.
Wow.
And, of course, there's the videos on YouTube.
Why is somebody asking about the old episodes?
Because they were listening to them.
Why do I got this premonition about some sort of legal action?
Wow. Statute of limitations.
Fair enough. With that, we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.